is May 30th, 2025. Last night, about 1 o'clock in the morning, some local officers were outside. My window's open. I heard voices look outside. Officer Mark and John, I never want them allowed around me again. Ever. Don't ever let them work a protected custody case again either. People showed up in Bob Evans and were complaining what they said outside that everybody heard them. Okay? Everybody heard them. They were saying that no one's to care what happens to her. We're only to act like we care and act like we watch her. We're not to care what happens to her. Oh my God. And we're just supposed to act that way. I don't need people impersonating police officers watch me that only act like they're doing their job. People were complaining in Bob Evans that they were only acting like they're doing their job. You have them under police surveillance. Okay? Confessing, they're only acting. And they don't care what happens to me. People that were following her today, when they pulled the surveillance of Walmart, the cartel had said it was some guy from Bill from the Freemasons running a scam here. And that it's not one of her doctors and that they had lied and it was his scam. And they're threatening war. And then everybody realized how not funny it is. And then they said, no one's to care what happens to her. She told on how they put it, she told on them using the scam of the chip. And since she told on them for using the scam of the chip, no one's to care what happens to her. Oh my God. Okay. Now, if you tell the police, now, if they actually pull the case, 12/21/18 should be that day. I'm stabbed in the neck, bashed in the back of the head, beaten, raped, and left for dead. Okay? Okay? Out for 6 hours. I have a dent in my head. The size of a ball peen hammer. Starter now when I get upset and they said it should have killed me. And within 10 days, they were in Walmart 62 trying to tell people they jumped me. Okay? And they were doing it in front of people in stores. While I had migraine headaches on the half a side of my head, felt like my head was going to explode. Okay? For 2 years. Okay? For 2 years. It should be March 13, 21. I go into Altman Hospital. The lady that claims she was Michelle's mother comes in and gets real smart ass with me. That FBI chipped you because they wanted the truth out of you. Blah, 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 blah. I just ignored her. Just glared at her. Want to act like a fool in front of people? People come in with fake FBI badges. Get in the back. even tell Dr. Alanatina's an intern there. Okay? Telling people in the back of Altman Hospital, same thing. There's cameras, audio. Okay? You know, you pull the case where even the sheriffs, we all take turns watching her every day for that FBI case. Okay? Another officer said we have to document and verify everything that happened and said for the FBI case. So they had a recording of those people saying it. And a video in the hospital. So somebody who's running a scam on somebody, they bash their head in. The people that did it are in a hospital under surveillance saying it. You think you would want to tell the police so they can get the scammers that are harming people, right? That's what you're supposed to do, right? Because they told all kinds of people running that scam. So I told them, hey, they're saying this, they're saying that, and da 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 da, and they're impersonating the FBI. You think law enforcement would want them? No. Mm-mm. Nope. No one's to care what happens to her. She told on him for that scam. You're supposed to. I don't want them ever around me again. Law enforcement's only to act like they care and act like they're protecting her and then not do anything. Oh, people in Bob Evans, we all heard those police officers say that. Yeah. I don't want them ever around me again. They said enough to end up in jail. There's a court order for the police to protect me, and they're saying they're defying it and letting a victim get victimized by the cartel. Okay. My friend Walter at the prosecutor's office said 2 Canton officers, they found out they let someone get hurt in the witness protection program. Canton police gave them the choice of resigning right away or they would be arrested. Got them off the force. They let someone get hurt in protected custody. See, this is where bad law enforcement. You know what's really sad? My one neighbor, he had went to him. He said they badmouthed me. I stood up for him. I stood up for him. They wouldn't do that. I called the office. I can't dispatch your answers. And I tell him what the neighbor said. He said, oh, your neighbor was just police bashing. Miss Hall, with that open FBI case, any officer gets caught badmouthing you is going to get a lot of trouble. With all the people they got off of it and all the information on those people, they're going to get in a lot of trouble. Your neighbor was just bashing the police. So I told him off. I defended them. I want you to think about that. I defended them. I defended them. And told him off. And called him a liar. I defended them. I want you to think about that. I don't want them ever around me again. Do not leave me with them. You know where they said they pulled the surveillance of Walmart. The cartel was saying this was some guy from Bill from the Freemason, his scam. And that doctor was not one of hers, but works for them and they had lied. And they were threatening war. And people and investigators I'll realize how not funny this is. Where did you find it funny? And then I want to know where any police officer could back predators harming people in their home. See, they even framed my son Danny that he was in it with a shower scene in the other room. I had confronted him on Christmas Eve of 22 of knowing about in cameras, a shower scene in the other room to make me look weird. He didn't know. And they knew I had bruises, throwing up, and almost passing out. But they didn't know people were drug and beating on me. Okay, and telling me to say stuff they didn't know. April 16, 23, Jen's mom's memorial service. I go to walk to my car. He's off in the distance. Him and Jen and the boys walk up to my grandson Gabe and his girlfriend Shay and said, I finally went to Dad. Ask him what on earth is going on. He said that he'd hired some guy named Pete. And it was Pete and his men in their home before. And Pete had her taped saying the filthy, dirty statement. The drugs and told us say it. It was some guy named Pete. He hired on his own. See, now I want you to think of this too. Their scam of they hired an attorney, and that's where those police officers were saying they were telling everybody they hired an attorney to do it to her, and so it made it legal. It doesn't. Oh, hell no, it don't. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements in a court order without a conflict of interest, not some dirty crazy shyster breaking in ladies' homes, taping them showering and Photoshop that in a shower scene in his personal stalking tapes, running a scam on him, and then have his dirty doctor friend break in and stab that lady with a date rape drug and tell her to say something stupid. And have her beat and raped, and the poor thing wakes up with injection marks, bruises all over, throwing up, heart racing, almost passing out in a severe personal infection, and no memory of it. Or takes a drink out of a Diet Coke and the same thing, and no memory of it. Never seen or talked to anybody. So where would the police back some shyster attorney and his dirty doctor friend running drug scams on victims of drug beat and raping them under drugs and drugging them for fake confessions and photoshopping washing in their own personal scam? Where would a cop back that at all? You arrest them. Do you know if you drug someone, it's considered torture? It's a 20-year sentence. It's considered torture. Do you know if you abuse, harm, harass someone, it's emotional torture? To demean anybody of any kind of integrity on an ongoing thing is torture. It is illegal for the police to withhold protection. They go to jail for that. Like those Canton police officers had the choice of resigning or be arrested. See, to me, where could a cop back that? Where could a cop back some crazed attorney taking the law into his own hands? They even admitted it was supposed to be some attorney, and they were saying because an attorney did it, it made it legal. It doesn't. No, it don't. Matter of fact, it makes it very illegal. It has to be police and agencies only under the threat of life with statements with a court order without a conflict of interest. Not some crazed shyster running drug scams on somebody with his dirty doctor friend. And you know how this is? I don't even know who Pete is. I don't know his dirty doctor friend. You guys make fun of me for assailants I've never met in person. They're predators that I've never even met in person. I've never talked to them in person. Now I want you to think about that. Going around breaking in people's homes, stabbing them with date rape drugs, tell them to say something stupid, and then have guys beat and rape them. They yelled out, what was it, May 22nd, Walmart West Tusk, that they hired a neuropsychiatrist to tape her unaware, drugged her up because they said that's how he questions people and tells them say stuff and then try to get it out of them. They can't do that. No, they can't. That's insane. I was talking to a nurse at Altman Hospital. I was telling her about this thing. She giggled and giggled. They'd all go to jail for this. Yeah. So where can a cop back a drug scam from some crazed attorney and his doctor from running scams on people? Huh? In it with the Florida human traffickers. Where would you even think you could back it? You would go to jail for it as an accessory. So, and these people try to frame Chief Bruce Zawinski up there, that he's given special permission for people to break in other people's homes. Watch him unaware. That's cyber stalking. Photoshop washing, drug them for fake confession, and the poor person never seen or talked to anybody. How could you back somebody being predators like that and harming people and playing with them like that? You can't. There's no legal damn excuse. But they run around harassing me. You know that guy in my old apartment that tells everybody he was part of the fraud scheme and in it with that agent, that he has my medical records? I told the nurse that at Altman Family. She started laughing. He'd go to jail for having it and anybody giving it to him. Doctors can't even say they seen you or what they seen you for. I said one of their scams is they hired a dirty doctor to tape me unaware, drug me up and tell me say crime. She giggled. I said, name a dirty doctor, you'd make me a millionaire. She's like, they would. They can't touch you. They can't. It's assault and battery. Like an investigator said, it's assault with a deadly weapon. Where don't people have a sane mind in this? It's like I'm lost in the twilight zone of idiots. Huh? And then they turn around. Oh, she's got charges. I've never been questioned by the police. Matter of fact, when I went to the police, they denied all knowledge of this. And what these people did is illegal. That bill from the Freemasons tried to frame Bruce Zawinski, chief of police up there. The cartel's trying to frame him that he's part of it. They try to frame Judge Timothy Ludick and Judge Stephen as an accessory. Do you know what's really bad? They were under investigation for being part of the drug cartel harming people. That's how not funny it is. Now, Officer Mark or John, I don't want those officers near me. And those cops say, who cares if they yell tape before? If you're not going to be a police officer and do your job and stop domestic terrorism and people harassing them, they said enough out there last night. Not only lose your job, but be a part of, held accessory to these crimes. It's bad when I'm trying to clear the chief of police's name, the judges up there, that it's just the drug cartel and these dirty people messed up with it. I'm the one trying to clear everybody's name. And these people are trying to get them locked up. This is where it makes me mad. It makes me furious that these people run around and I don't even know who they're talking about. I don't even know. Now I want you to think about that. Unknown assailants. Unknown assailants. I don't even know them. Unknown assailants that ran the scam on me. How not funny is this? Now you tell me how not funny this is. Running a scam on somebody and nobody's been questioned. I have never been questioned on wrongdoing. Never prosecuted, never found guilty. And these people run around, oh, we're backing a drug scam. Oh, she dared tell on a scam. They were running. Oh, and they were running it in front of everyone. Huh? Everyone. Stores, and so they could get the people behind the scam. I would report it. Even my neighbor Amy heard them laugh outside. They were scamming me that they chipped me. She even heard them laugh about it. That how they frame me. Drugged me and told me to say all kinds of crazy crap. Since when does law enforcement not care about victims that predators are just running a scam on? And it was the Florida drug cartel. And they told Bill from the Freemason that was initiation for what, the Texas cartel? Because they were the ones threatening Michelle. And now they're threatening more. And they already told him back in April they were tired of him. And his whole scam was ruined. The originals in 18 already said they were using the guy that worked for the Florida drug cartel. The police and the FBI already knew that. One of my neighbors in another apartment building said, "What are these people doing? The originals were here years ago and already said it wasn't her doctor." I know. Years ago, like 19, 18. People forget the FBI case. I never want those officers near me again. And then they said if she moves off, we'll only have to worry about her husband. I never want them near me again. Ever. Ever. Bill from the Freemasons, people were complaining in October he was telling people he was an FBI agent. I was up in Ravenna. I went to the gas station to use a bathroom last year. Was going through it. Some of the investigators came in and we heard they were telling people no one's to believe her, no one's to help her. We never said that. Where'd they get it, Bill? Like they said, Bill from the Freemasons was telling people he's an FBI agent. They had him look him up and he's not. He lied. And we just told these people, we told everyone, if they didn't feel comfortable talking about the case, just tell people we don't talk about an ongoing case. So we can get the people that were doing this to her. We weren't never told people not to believe her, not to help her. Where on earth did they get that? They were supposed to take care of her while we got these people. See, there's no rationality with these people. And law enforcement backing irrational drug scams? What on earth? I've never been questioned or wrongdoing. No, prosecuted. Never found guilty. Now think about this. And law enforcement backing me for a drug scam? I mean, making fun of me for a drug scam of drugs and told to say it and photoshopping and washing. And they announced in Walmart 62 where they said they got the surveillance that it was just a scam for Bill from the Freemasons, and the cartel was tired of him. And how dare he, then that group, threaten Michelle? Do they want more? They told him to knock it off 2 months ago, that they were tired of it, that they're not the ones running it. No, Florida is. They announced it in 18 that the Florida drug cartel was running it. By 19, the Gentlemen's Club from Florida, big men as big as Hulks, bodybuilders, work for the 3 or 4 70-year-old men. And they were young guys, huge muscles everywhere all over their body. Henry Moffi's group, they all work for Judge Peters. Yeah. They were at Faith Family Church, 3,000 people seen them. And other places, and the police recorded them. Yeah. I'm going to upload this.